We've created the hardest challenge in Football Manager for you guys to try and complete. That's right, we are setting you, the FMSCOUT viewer, a challenge to complete on Football Manager. If you're bored of FM currently, if you're looking for a new save to play, this could be the one for you. What I've done is I've simulated ahead until halfway through the season in FM23, just before the end of a January transfer window. Now for this challenge, we had all the teams in their correct leagues as to where they are going to be in the coming season in real life, and that includes Luton in the Premier League, and this is where the challenge comes in, because with only a few days left of a January transfer window, Luton find themselves bottom of the Premier League on 3 points. After 21 games, there's only 17 matches left. Your job is going to be to become Luton manager and try and keep the club up. Now there's a few questions you might have. How do I get involved with this, and how is it even possible? Well, let's break that down now. In the description down below, I will leave a link to this save file that you guys can go ahead and download, and what I want you to do is to give it your best shot after watching this video, of course, where I'm going to give you a few tips and also have a go at it myself. Now you can just play this on your own and let us know in the comments how it's got on, but if you want to be featured in the next episode in this challenge series, what I want you to do is to take some screenshots. Don't send the save file itself, but send some screenshots of what you've been doing in your save, where you finished, who you signed, etc, etc, and send it to an email address which I haven't made yet, but I'll put it on screen now, and I'll also include a link to it in the description. Send your results over there and we'll be reviewing it in a week's time when we do a follow-up and give you another challenge. It's a series that we want to continue on this channel if you guys want to get involved with it, where we set you challenges for you guys to play, short-term ones to get involved with, and we want to hear your results. So if that's something you're interested in, what I really would ask you guys to do for going to the effort of setting this up for you is if you could smash that like button for us on this video. That way YouTube will see that you've liked it and it'll promote it out to as many people as possible, and let us know in the comments any challenges you'd like us to set, or if this is a series you want to see continued. Now to answer the second part of the question, how is this even possible? Well, it is going to be super hard. One of the hardest challenges you can attempt in FM, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be pulling your hair out trying to do this, but let me show you where Luton are at this point. So one win was against Nottingham Forest, a 3-0 away win, a pretty good win, but then 20 losses, no draws, and minus 34 goal difference. Friendly started off well, but then the season went poorly. Huddersfield, there was a win against them in the Carabao Cup. We're not even scoring many goals until we beat Forest not too long ago in a 3-0 match as mentioned, but it has not got much better since then. Tactically, this Luton side has been playing awful football, sitting with a back three with 5 players right in front of them defensively. And not only are we in a struggling league position, we've also got loads of players asking for new deals. Obviously they're now Premier League players. As we've used an updated database, the game doesn't reflect that, and all of these people are angry and after more money. That's led to the managerial support being low and the club atmosphere being down. So first thing I'd suggest you do is do a team meeting to try and get everybody on board. Financially, you are struggling with only £500,000 in the transfer budget and 4,000 in the wage budget. Obviously we've just used updated squads and league positions, so we haven't actually got updated transfer budgets and whatnot for you guys, so you are playing on a shoestring budget, and it's going to be hard just to negotiate with your contracts, never mind bring any players in on the last few days of a January window. Now you could speak to the board and potentially ask them for more wage budget or transfer budget. I'll leave that up to you if you want to try that, but that could certainly help give you a little bit more flexibility, because there is money in the finances from being in the Prem, we just aren't being allowed to spend it. Your best player, your star player by a long distance, is this man, Alan Campbell, a Scottish international who actually looks pretty handy. A winger by the name of Chidozie Ogbene here is also pretty talented and very quick, as well as Tahith Chong, formerly of Manchester United, and also Pele Ruduk Mpanzu, who has the great story of being with Luton since they were all the way down in the Vanarama National League. And these are your best players to build around. Everyone else is pretty naff. There's no one of real high value. Maybe you can make something happen in the transfer window, but it's going to be very tough. So that's the wall that your backs are up against as Luton boss. I want to see how good you can do in your efforts, but first I'll show you how my effort went, and spoiler alert, it was pretty tough. Maybe wrongly so, I decided if my Luton team was gonna go down, we were gonna go down in style. Enough of this defensive nonsense, we are going for a gegenpress 4-3-3 system, trying to get the best out of our midfield, which is where our best players are, Campbell, Chong and Mpanzu. We also have this very good striker by the name of Elijah Adebayo, but I've decided to opt against using him, and instead I'm hoping Chidozie Ogbene would be able to get in behind and score us some goals. And the first match that you're going to play in this challenge is Sheffield United at home, a fairly winnable match against a team in the bottom half of the table. And in a tightly contested game, it was our man up front, Ogbene, who was able to get round the goalkeeper and took it in the 20th minute for a 1-0 lead that we held on to for the whole match. But our run of form isn't going to get any easier. We're facing off against Aston Villa away from home, 5th in the league. Then we've got Brentford, West Ham, and even if we manage to get some points out of them at the end of the season, we're playing City, Brighton, Chelsea and Tottenham. This really will not be an easy challenge if you guys think it will be. Also, as a side note, if you can, try and use your own tactic and not like an OP plug and play tactic. Obviously play it in whatever way you like, but I'll give you bonus points if you do it with your own tactical style. I did do a decent team meeting and got our managerial support up to poor, which is obviously still bad, but it's better than where it was before. And I'm also going to try and offer as many of these players deals that I can, and if there's anyone that doesn't accept a deal, I might even consider putting them in the reserves to try and raise the overall happiness of the squad to give us the best chance of staying up. After winning our first game and raising some morale, it was time for us to go out and get a win against Aston Villa, but that wasn't to be. I should maybe have made some kind of defensive tactic to play these away matches against the good teams. I didn't do that, and we got sent to the cleaners. We lost 4-1 in the end with some great goals, including this one from Buendia for Aston Villa to put them 3-0 up. They then scored a fourth, a bit of a lucky deflection in my eyes. I'll let you make your mind up. Poor defending or a bit of luck here for Douglas Luiz's shot. You'll see, bang, off one player, and it's a tap in for Bamba at the back post. We did pull one goal back though, coming from a set piece, Freeman floating it to the back, where Burke was able to head it in from only a few yards out, but that was a disappointing loss. We then played Brentford at home, but after an early Ivan Toney penalty, it wasn't looking good for us, and then Brian Mbeumo got in behind and scored from close range to give us another loss in our 3 games here. But we are Luton Town, and we're not going to give up that easily, and we played West Ham away from home with Chong scoring after only 28 minutes to give us a 1-0 advantage, and we were looking good for a potential victory. We then made it 2-0 later on with Adebayo getting in behind in the 36th to give us a 2-0 advantage as we went into half-time, and everything was looking like it was going to smooth sailly into our second win of this challenge. But West Ham had different ideas, with Ben Rama pulling one back just before the break, and then my team talk maybe wasn't great. It started to go wrong. Bowen scored from the penalty spot, and you're about to see an absolute howler from our goalkeeper. I believe it was this game. Here comes Vlasic. Our goalkeeper's decided he's not going to move, and then does this. At this point, in all honesty, I was ready to give up on the challenge. Then West Ham went forward and scored a fourth late on. Vlasic pulling it back to Ings to make it 4-2, and still only one win for our Luton Town side. At this point, we asked the board for more wages. We'd fixed all the dynamics issues, and I was hoping that was going to be enough for us to make it out of this horrible slump. The escape was looking even less likely now, with only 13 matches left and a huge points difference between us and Sheffield United in 17th. But with a home match against 19th place Fulham coming up, everything could be about to change. If we lost here, the challenge would probably be over before it started, but Mads Andersen came in with a powerful header in the 40th minute to give us a 1-0 win. At this point, we were starting to have some hope, particularly with an upcoming home match against Nottingham Forest following that Fulham win, but after 3 minutes, shattered. Brennan Johnson gets in behind, scores a goal, and I thought it was going to be a long day until in the 65th minute, Mendes Gomez found himself in and slipped it into the bottom corner, and we really started pushing for 3 points at this point. We needed the win, but in the 93rd minute, hearts were broken. Taiwo Awoni made it past our defence. Our goalkeeper Matt Macy came rushing out and scored. And we ended up losing 2-1, leaving us at the bottom of the table on only 9 points. And I feel like at this point of the challenge, if it's not going well, it's only going to get harder, and we started to fall apart. First, losing to Everton 1-0. Then we lost 3-1 to Manchester United at home. We picked up a point against Crystal Palace away from home, a good result for us. And after losses to Liverpool, Brighton, and then a draw at home to Burnley, things weren't looking good until we played Bournemouth. Now, our Luton Town boys came into this hungry. Time was running out to pick up any kind of points to stay up, and Ogbene used his pace to get behind straight away and put us 1-0 up against the Cherries. And then in the 89th minute, Mads Andersen completed the deal, getting us a 2-0 win and giving us another 3 points on the table. That left us sitting on 14 points, now only 10 points away from coming out of a relegation zone, and we had 2 games in hand on Sheffield United. So in theory we needed to win at least 3 of our matches, draw another and hope Sheffield got nothing else, and that's not even counting for what Burnley and Fulham might do. And did I mention our running for the end of the season is Chelsea, Tottenham, Man City and Wolves? Well, it doesn't really get much harder than that. But after a strong team meeting and praising the boys, we managed to get their morale up and we were ready to take on the mighty Blues with the team that you can see assembled here. If you could have a star of a show in a team sitting 20th in the Premier League, then Ogbene would fit that bill. This man is a very handy player to have and I really suggest you guys try and get the best out of him. Credit to Alan Campbell as well, who was running his socks off in the midfield for us. But this team is going to need to be on the top of their game to get anything off of Chelsea. And the game did not start very strong. 10 minutes in, Chelsea took the lead through new signing Nicholas Jackson at the back post. And it didn't get any better from there, and Panzu, who's been with us for so long, gave the ball away and Jackson once again was in, but our Luton Town boys do not give up, and then, in the 35th minute, the comeback began with Lockyer playing it through to Mpanzu, onto Chong, who found Ogbene, who tucked it away to make it 2-1, and there was some hope in our eyes. Until Rodrigo de Paul stepped up for Chelsea in the 46th minute and took the ball away from a header. And if you're any good at maths, you know what that loss meant for the club. Luton got relegated into the Championship, and even worse than that, the club decided to terminate my contract, even though we managed to pick up a few wins since January. So, my first attempt didn't go well. My suggestion would be try and fix all the dynamic issues as quick as you can, really win the matches when you need to win them, and set up some kind of defensive tactic when you're away from home. The draws will help you across the course of the season, but there are some must-win games in there. That Sheffield United match is crucial at the start of the season. You also want to be beating Brentford, Fulham, and hopefully as well Forest, and maybe even get something against Everton. You're going to lose a few games here and there for sure, but Burnley and Bournemouth are games where you should be able to try and get 3 points. And if you don't, you'll end up sacked like me. So there's the challenge. The save file will be in the description down below. Give it a go and send across your results to us. I think you'll have great fun with it, and I want to know if you can pass the hardest challenge in Football Manager.